playing dead. I'm rather effing hungry, looking for the bread. And I can't calm down, I'm super effing hyper, so the last resort is probably to put me on some meds. But even then, that ish won't bother me, cause I'm high class, nigga, like astronomy. And from the class of women that drink and lose their class in this, all I ask for you is not to squeeze my bottom, please. Man, who the hell gon' stop my if I won't even stop for a cop car? That was obviously a joke, weren't you listening before? A ticket is something I can't afford. Plus, I'm not trying to be a thug, I just wanna dodge them and keep away from dodgy slugs. And the motto still simmer down, ho, if you don't like that, it could be keep your mouth closed.
Now she want a photo, you already know though. You only live once, that's the motto, nigga. YOLO, and we bout it every day, every day, every day. We sitting on the bench, nigga, we don't really play. Every day, every day, fuck what anybody say. Can't see him cause the money in the way. Real nigga, what's up, what's up?